In Python, an iterator is an object that is used to iterate over iterable objects like list, tuples, dictionary, sets, etc. The Python iterator's object is initialized using the iter method, and it uses the next method for iteration. The iter method uses the double underscore like the init method, and it's called for the initialization of an iterator and returns an iterator object. Like the iterator method, the next method also uses the double underscores like the init method, and it returns the next value for the iterable. When we use a for loop to traverse any iterable object, internally it uses the iter method to get an iterator object, which further uses the next method to iterate over. The next method raises a stop iteration to signal the end of the iteration. Let's try iterating a list first. Then we will create our own iterator. Let's name the list names and assign a few values. And to iterate, simply we can use a for loop. We can say for name in range, and inside the range function we will say till the length of the list. So len names. And here simply we can print the name or we can print the index. So let's print the index. Print name. Actually, it's better we name it index. Awesome. Here we're iterating till its length, till the length of the list. Now let's create our own iterator. So we can say class, and let's name the iterator custom iterator. Okay. Create the class block, and inside the block let's create the constructor first. So def underscore underscore init, and here let's create one field, the field which will be used to stop the iteration. So we can name the field limit, self dot limit, and here let's take this limit from our class color or object color, or we can say from our iterator color. So limit, and inside the constructor argument we can accept self and limit. Now let's initialize the iterator, and for that we have to use the iter method. In the same way we use the constructor method, the init method. So def underscore underscore iter underscore underscore method, and inside the method block we will create another class field. This time we want to name it number of students, as we want to count the number of students. So we can say self dot number of students, and we can initialize it as 0, pass self keyword here, and return self. And now to iterate and to go to the next value we have to use the next method. Def underscore underscore next underscore underscore, and the method block, let's accept the self keyword first. Here first of all let's say if the number of students, so self dot number of students greater than or equal to limit, self dot limit, if block, and then raise the stop iteration, raise stop iteration. And if the number of students is not equal to or greater than limit, then what we will do? Simply self dot number of students plus equal to 1. We will increment into 1 every time we iterate, and then return self dot number of students. Execute this piece of code, and here simply we can say for I in custom iterator, and let's pass 10 here and print I. So it will print from 0 to 10. Let's execute it, and we can say, okay, I'm sorry, it has printed from 1 to 10. Actually it should be. Okay, that's all for now about Python iterator. Let's learn about Python lambda function in our next lecture.